Okay, so you mean to tell me, Akon, that after you made all your millions and practically in America, and you at one time was sagging your pants on stage, now you want to go on interview outlets and state that American artists come on stage high, do not know how to perform, unlike natural African performers, like people like Blacko and Fireboy. I don't know who these people are, but I have a lot to say about this topic. It's a hot topic, and I've never been an Akon fan anyway, so there's no love lost. Hey, what's going on? It's your girl. I'm here. And so hopefully everybody's Christmas was wonderful. I had to take a break for 2 days straight for personal reasons, but now I'm back. So we're going to talk about this Akon, situation. It's buzzing like crazy, and it's a real hot topic, and it's really controversial if you think about it. I'm going to explain to you why. So according to Ghana Web, it reads, American artists come on stage, in quotations, high, unlike natural African showstoppers like Blacko, Fireboy. This is what Akon said. Music executive and mogul Akon has minced no words describing American artists are poor stage performers who come on stage anxious and high on drugs. He was comparing his American counterparts to his African fellows. The Senegalese American superstar has publicly taken keen interest in Ghana's sensational black sheriff, alias Kwaku Frimpong. Black Sheriff is a monster. He reminds me so much of myself. He repeated his BBC Radio 1 Extra sentiments to his host, British TV personality Zezzy Mills. The 49-year-old confirmed he was at the 2022 Music of Black Origin Mobile Awards, where Sheriff performed just before Nigeria's Fireboy. Black Sheriff is a beast, he praised again, recalling the night with Zezzy Mills. On how a 20-year-old wields so much charisma and stage presence, Akon offered a simple explanation. He's African, he shrugged to dramatize. We're a little different when it comes to stage presence, he beamed with pride. He juxtaposed African acts on stage with what has been his experience and observation in America. Those people will be wobbling with their pants, trousers hanging half down, bored as hell, half asleep because they are high on stage, the multi-platinum musician said matter-of-factly. In Africa, we wake up ready. Look at all these YouTube clips of all these kids from Uganda and how he tried to mimic the viral dance moves. These kids are performers. For us, Africans, it come off naturally. He touted watching the kids from Africa. It's clear that it's in their blood. Performances like second nature. It's like second nature for us. The record producer and singer-songwriter stressed. So I wasn't surprised at all to see Black Sheriff on the mobile stage where he was just a beast. And Fireboy has his own type of swag that comes with him. He nodded slightly. You can tell he's like the new generation African talent. Akon was a friend and collaborated with Michael Jackson, and I'm glad they put that there. The Convict Music and Convict Culture Chief Executive Officer has more than 2 decades worth of experience as an artist. And I'm going to fuck in. I'm going to fuck in on this little motherfucker. And I'm going to tell you why. You profited off of hip-hop, okay? And you profited off of the negative connotations of hip-hop. When you came out with your album, the first one was Trouble, and then you came out with the second one, Convicted, okay? Your imprint, your music imprint, label imprint was called Convict Music, okay? And the biggest star you signed was a white woman named Stephanie Germanotta. For those of you who don't know, that's the government name of Lady Gaga, okay? The first 2 albums was under his imprint. And then she moves on, and then he had no choice but to basically go back to Africa to make money. See, a lot of people don't know the real reason why he retired was because he got rich off of Lady Gaga. And what a lot of people don't know is that Lady Gaga realized all that money that she made off of those first 2 albums, she never got hardly a dime. That's right. I'm taking it all the way back to 2008, 9, and 10. Okay? A lot of people don't know that. He snaked the shit out of her financially. Many people don't know that. That was a big mess. And he quietly had to basically pay her some of that money back. But the rest of it he took, and that's how you got that little city that he's building, Akon City. Yep, that's right. He snaked her, and he snaked a lot of those other artists too that was on that label that were black. What happened to Trouble? Yeah, that's right. He got gunned down with a bullet in his head in a Atlanta, Georgia mall. That's a whole nother scandal in itself. That man got blood on his hands from that shit too. Yes, I said it, okay? Number 3, all right? Akon, you were sagging your pants on stage at one time when it was popular. You wasn't doing it that long because the transition, by the time you came on, people weren't really sagging their pants like that, except for the younger kids who was like in their 20s, like my generation. You're older than me by like a good 10 or 12 years. So you wasn't sagging your pants, but you was rapping those lyrics. Yeah, maybe because you was doing collabos with Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and Michael Jackson. You don't think that you're a hip-hop artist. Dude, you're a hip-hop artist. You're not a singer. Using auto-tune does not make you a singer. You're still a rapper. And that's the problem you have. You don't want to call yourself a rapper. You want to call yourself a music mogul. You want to call yourself an enterpriser. You started out as a rapper. Okay? But your snake moves. Because I know people who worked with you. Because remember, I'm from New York. And I know people who intern at record labels. And they told me things that I will never say. That's how privy that information is. These people had dealings with you. Okay? You ain't a good person. And they were Americans. Okay? Now, we gonna go back in time to 2007 because you was on that Michael Jackson 25th anniversary Thriller album. Okay? Michael liked you. And now all of a sudden you praised Michael Jackson so much when he was alive. You did say you met him when you was like a teenager and so forth because your parents were in the business as musicians and dancers. Now, here's my issue with you. Now that Michael's dead, I don't want to say dead. Now that he's long passed away, now you want to say that black people don't know how to perform, unlike Africans do. First of all, let me tell you something. Don't ever use false equivalence when it comes to my people, okay? First of all, I'm going to say you're a charlatan, and I'm going to tell you why. Because first of all, what you're doing, you're saying, oh, black artists in America, black Americans, they sag with their pants hanging down. They come on stage high and they're half asleep and they don't know how to perform. They mumble the words. Okay, what you're talking about hip hop artists, okay? Why don't you say hip hop artists? Why don't you be real with it? But see, here's the thing. It's not going to gain the same kind of, attention. It's not going to be able to, be spinned to where it's going to be salacious because that you coming off saying that people going to be like, well, yeah, it's hip hop. So you want to compare your hip hop artists, Fireboy, Black Sheriff, to the whole of Black America musical talent. And that's foul. Okay. Second of all, most Black Americans do not perform as rappers and hip hop artists. They perform in the realm of R&B, pop, and gospel, and jazz, and blues. Many people know that. First of all, you still have Patti LaBelle who's performing. You still have what's her name? Gladys Knight. Dionne Warwick, I believe, is still performing. You have Stevie Wonder still performing, okay? He's 72 years old. You still have people performing who go back to the 1960s and 50s. Bobby Rush is a 90-year-old man, I believe. He's still performing. You have icons who are still performing to this day, all right, who can do it way better than you and all your people combined on the continent. And if Whitney and Michael were still alive, I don't care what anyone say, on Whitney's worst day, she could still blow all of them out the ballpark, okay? As well as Michael Jackson, okay? And you and I and all the world knows it too. Now, about those Black American artists whose pants sag and they perform high on stage, they may be high on stage, okay? Their pants may sag. But I'll tell you one thing, they never come on stage sounding sleepy. They never come on stage sounding, looking like they about to fall on the ground. That's why I call you a charlatan, because you lied on that. We could say whatever we want. We could say, yeah, they seem high on weed, but they never, ever, ever sound asleep on that stage. You's a foul person for that. Oh, and by the way, I know your game. You're trying to propel those artists in Africa to make it big because you got some money invested in that. You see, this is why we as foundational Black Americans and ADOS, we're delineating, because people like him have proven time and time again, you cannot trust a lot of people who are Black, who are non-FBAs, who are Black, because what they do is that he gets put on by a Black American, right? Black Americans buy his music. Black Americans and those record labels put him on, okay? Black Americans are the reason why his parents were not just able to perform here. A lot of people don't know. Catherine Dunham, the legendary choreographer, is his godmother. He lived in America. He's born in St. Louis, Missouri. He's not an African person who grew up in Africa, the continent. He is homegrown here. Okay? That's what makes him really a charlatan more than anything else. You grew up amongst us. And you basically copied our swag. And you sold it very well. And now that you got your money from us buying your records and snaking Lady Gaga, now all of a sudden you basically is like, F you Black American motherfuckers, F you. I remember that comment you made about, oh yeah, that's right, they should get over slavery. Slavery was years ago. Get over that shit. Yeah, I remember all that shit you said, Akon. I remember all that. And lastly, what I want to say is, we know that Akon City, the Chinese going to have their hands in that too, but that's the realty. But that's for another story, time and day. But see, my thing is this, you just proven that we can show you kindness, but not all. But a lot of you all do not show kindness back to us. A lot of you all will snake us when you get to the top. And that's that delineation. And a lot of people, they're tired of it. But see, we're glad that you're showing that. A lot of people who really feel that way are really showing their colors towards us, because now we can basically regroup and we can basically reposition ourselves. And we can really focus on our own homegrown talent. And by the way, a lot of new talent that's coming up, that's young, it's not really in hip hop. It's like I said, it's in jazz, it's in R&B, it's pop, it's country, believe it or not, gospel, poetry, spoken word. It's in rock and roll. I forgot to mention rock and roll. It's in a lot of art forms, classical music. It's in a lot of art forms, but hip hop. And even the young people, like, unless if they're really doing hip hop, and I'm not talking about these young kids out there in the street. I'm not talking about, drill music and stuff. I'm talking about like real hip hop. Most of them are doing like authentic hip hop. That drill music is practically done, because half of them are even shooting themselves, into oblivion. So basically, Akon, you can try to ethnically, cleanse us out of here, but you're never going to, okay? And people are going to remember that, okay? My advice to you, don't go to places like Chicago, California, the whole state, Texas, the whole state. Don't go to places where most of the people predominantly are FBA, because they will basically see you and they will jump you, okay? The whole world is not like New York. I'm just going to keep it real. Whole of America is not like New York, okay? Stay your ass in Africa and, build up Akon City, and don't F with us, because we ain't never going to F with your ass anyway. And with that being said, I'm signing out. Thank you for listening and tuning in. If you haven't done so, please subscribe, please comment, please hit the notification bell to receive notices of future uploads and lives. Comment, share, like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you real soon. Later, and have a good one.